My name is Maureen Meadows. I'm an inactive member of the Georgia Bar, and after I reported court-based crime to law enforcement in 2020, I lost custody and all parenting time with my younger child without a single evidentiary hearing or even an accusation of abuse. I am here to demand that the DOJ adopt a mandatory prosecution policy for due process crimes and crimes perpetuating a fraud upon American courts via federal crimes like wire fraud, mail fraud, and deprivation of rights. I practiced family law between approximately 1999 and 2004, during which I almost never had to go to court. I experienced one guardian ad litem representation as a parent's lawyer. I volunteered in one guardian ad litem representation, and I consistently provided a service in which divorcing clients were able to move on without losing everything they had to corrupt court actors. I then left my practice to raise my children. In 2017, my husband, a big law partner, announced he had secretly purchased a condo and was moving in with a new partner, who I learned 10 months later was an addiction patient felon, and learned further in 2021 was a prostitute working under the name Elsa. In 2018, I began experiencing serious felony-level crimes against the best interests of my children in the Superior Court of DeKalb County, Georgia. Eventually, after the divorce, after I reactivated my bar license, I reported these crimes both criminally and civilly. What came after were more and even more obvious and provable cover-up crimes. The problem is that so far, law enforcement allows these crimes to occur and entire lives to be destroyed. Why safe courts are not a priority, I can only speculate about. I'm not going to go into the details of the horror and the cover-up because I am still pleading with the feds to move forward on the facts and the law. Judge Letitia Dear Jackson interfered with due process, the criminal process, and defrauded the court herself, making sure these crimes were never exposed. My child was trafficked in a modification without a single hearing that took place shortly after I started reporting these crimes. I have lost my profession as an ethical lawyer because I have learned that the public is not protected by the State Bar of Georgia from unethical lawyers, and that the Judicial Qualifications Commission, a state-funded agency, is also covering up serious crimes in our courts. In short, Georgia has no functioning court system. We are not a constitutional state, and the weakest among us are target prey and profiteering, including children. I learned that guardian ad litems are assigned without proof of need routinely to provide huge billings for family law attorneys. And I have personally seen in multiple cases how they intentionally fail to discover the critical evidence that would help the court while leaning on fraudulent evidence as investigated fact or impossible legal conclusions that are irrelevant. Worst of all, I learned that judges like Letitia Dear Jackson can commit the most heinous crimes against our institutions to keep bad actors happy, and absolutely nothing will be done to protect the next person by the Georgia Qualifications Commission or the GBI. I have learned that, in fact, someone coming after me in the same court with the same guardian ad litem team did file with the JQC, and it was screened out just like mine. Remember, or maybe I didn't tell you, mine was screened out even though Letitia Dear Jackson clearly committed criminal deprivation of rights under color of law, refusing to give me even a single evidentiary hearing, and falsified the record in order to transfer my child. There are details I'm leaving out because I'm still hoping there will be federal arrests, but that does not stop the fact that I've paid close to $1 million of survival money to protect my children and ended up only with fraudulent orders that have harmed them. I've spent years of my life in fight or flight fighting for these kids because I'm a parent, and I believed in the courts I once served. I demand that the Department of Justice stop preventing the arrests of judges and lawyers who obviously violate federal law. I demand the FBI start following the facts and the law instead of making up facts, like the lie that I hired an attorney to get my minor son back from Utah civilly, so they were going to call it a civil matter. By the time litigants go to the FBI, there's no civil recourse. They know how much money we have. We file financial affidavits. By the time we go to the FBI, almost all of us have nothing left to fight with in corrupted courts. I demand that multiple crime rings I have identified with solid probable cause to the FBI involved in the execution and cover-up of court-based crimes be prosecuted, because that's where the facts and the law go. I am now aware of 2 more parents in different cases in DeKalb Superior since I started reporting this, where a parent was stripped of a child with no showing of unfitness and the child was actually assigned to a non-parent. This is insanity that you face not in a deprivation action, not defects, not child welfare, but just because you are forced to establish a custody order because your relationship failed. My name is Maureen Meadows, and I'm a victim of family court fraud, violation of oath of office, complete deprivation of rights under color of law, and my due process rights have been essentially stripped by all state and local agencies who are supposed to protect our courts. The motivations behind this have nothing to do with my parenting, and I can prove it. But my family has been torn apart. My health has suffered the strain of fighting a system I once believed in and participated in protecting, only to find out it has become a child and parent abusing machine.